Exchange Rate Policy and Full Employment by Warren Mosler. Floating Rate Foreign Exchange Policy. With a floating rate currency, interest rates are set exogenously and foreign exchange reserves are not at risk. Therefore, full employment policy can achieve full employment with no risk of loss of foreign exchange reserves. However, the currency could depreciate, and this will now be examined. The argument can be made that full employment policy could result in the depreciation of the foreign exchange value of the currency. However, one must look at the effect on imports and exports to determine the policy implications. If total imports remain the same and only the distribution of imports changes, the macro effect is only the redistribution of the consumption of the imports. If imports increase, at the macro level, the welfare of the population is enhanced. The only reason to trade at all is to import. So only if total unit volume of imports falls could the case be made that welfare has been diminished. Likewise, exports are the macro costs of imports. The combination is called the terms of trade. Maximizing unit volume of imports relative to exports is how a population maximizes its terms of trade. For example, if one unit volume of imports increases more than exports due to currency appreciation, the country is better off. I have yet to see anyone make the case that full employment policy decreases the terms of trade through currency depreciation, induced by any additional national income due to increased net government expenditures. Furthermore, without full employment, the concept of comparative advantage does not exist, and trade often simply serves to facilitate a race to the bottom. Business and production flows to areas with the most unemployment and the lowest labor costs. So to attract foreign enterprise, a nation must maintain high levels of unemployment as well as offer high profit potential. Neither is good for the domestic population. This pitiful yet near universal policy is being further perpetuated by a fundamental and costly misunderstanding of how currencies operate. Bill Mitchell's buffer stock employment and Randy Ray's employer of last resort, by implication, reintroduce comparative advantage as the driving force behind foreign trade. They provide the structural framework that sets in motion the kinds of market forces and incentives that I suggest are much more desirable to the general population than those in place today.